Ready, go!
It's been a long wait for PC gamers, but fighting game fans can now rejoice as King of Fighters XIII has officially been released on Steam for digital download. Though having another title to add to the PC's small library of fighting games is indeed great news, the question still remains whether or not this version of King of Fighters XIII stands a chance given its past issues for online play on the console version. The King of Fighters series differentiates itself from other fighting games by using a team-based system of 3-on-3. Each player starts the match with 3 characters and the game plays out in a 1 versus 1 round. The player who wins the round moves on to face the next character with the ultimate goal of defeating all 3 opposing characters to win the match. It may seem like the winning player has an advantage in the match, but eliminating the rest of the opposing teammates is not such an easy feat. Once you go into the next round, the opposing teammate has a full bar of health, while the winning character's health bar is decided by both the damage and the time left over from the previous round. Presentation-wise, King of Fighters XIII does little to disappoint. Though many of the backgrounds from the King of Fighters XII returns, new stages have been added and you will find a few character cameos from some of the past SNK titles hidden throughout each stage. The 2D animation is littered with vibrant colors, and each character is extensively detailed with their own fighting style and charming characteristics. From the always straight and narrow Kim Kapawan to the playful but deadly Ash Crimson, King of Fighters does little to disappoint with a wide assortment of characters to choose from. The soundtrack does a great job with its musical arrangement, and you'll be hard-pressed not to find a favorite tune. For the more nostalgic player, there's an option to change certain character stage music to a newly arranged track that carries the unmistakable music of the previous offerings. The best way to describe KOF's combat system is simple but complex, as it gradually becomes a bit more challenging the further you begin to learn the game mechanics. The in-game tutorial does a decent job of introducing you to the basic game mechanics, but does very little to explain how certain moves such as hop and hyper hop will apply to the overall gameplay. It also fails at easing you into the more advanced mechanics, which may require a little bit of practice for newcomers. Despite its challenging appearance, KOF has a very welcoming combo system for newcomers, as your normals do not require strict timing and should be pretty easy to grasp. Players will find that certain characters' normals and command normals can cancel into each other and not just specials and supers. As players continue to learn, they will find the new drive cancel and EX system will lead to a great deal of fun discoveries for any player up to the challenge. Drive cancels will allow you to cancel special moves into other special moves, while EX special moves will add special attributes that will give you a variety of options such as hard knockdowns or extra damage. Going into the more advanced mechanics with the HD activation will take some real dedication, as execution becomes very tricky but rewarding for the player who manages to master this technique. In this mode, drive cancels are infinitely available until the HD bar expires. You can also cancel certain normals and command normals that do not cancel outside of the HD activation. The activation also allows you to cancel a DM into the newly added Neo Max to cause some very stylish and extreme damage to your opponent. The defensive game is one of the most unique things about King of Fighters, as it not only relies on block to fend off attacks from your opponent, but rolls as well. Rolls allow you to evade fireballs, incoming attacks, and can also give you a quick recovery after knockdown. Besides rolls, there are other options to get you out of harm's way, like the blowback attack, an offensive maneuver that will allow you to activate it on block at 1 cost of meter. Having these options available encourages the player to enjoy the game at a very fast pace and increase the opportunity for a more offensive match. With the fantastic gameplay, awesome game modes, wonderful characters, and fantastic backgrounds, KOF is definitely a fighting game worth checking out. But how does it fare online? On the console version, King of Fighters XIII has been unable to stack up to the netplay of other popular fighting game titles, which left the online activity of this game pretty barren. The Steam edition advertises a vast improvement over its past iterations, and it's safe to say those statements aren't very far off. The online interface is pretty straightforward and gives you a variety of options for finding an online match. When the player first comes into the online lobby, we have a choice of playing a ranked match or a player match. The only big difference between the two is that ranked matches are played under a set of predefined rules, leaving the options to customize very slim. Once you've selected the type of match you want to have, options range from creating your own room, which allows you to practice or play the arcade while you wait for an opponent, and searching for a quick session of players that may have created rooms of their own. Matches didn't seem too hard to come by, but using the quick search did not bring great results. I found creating my own room and setting my own options to be quite sufficient. Waiting for matches in practice didn't take very long, and before I knew it, a challenger was available and ready to go. Aside from a few latent spikes during certain gaming sessions, I found the netplay to be pretty lag-free and the controls fairly responsive. Although I believe this to be a vast improvement over the console's netcode, there were still some small concerns. Many times in between and at the beginning of sessions, latency would never remain static, switching from 1 to 3 bars very frequently, so there was never a finite feeling for what worked as I constantly looked for challengers with 3 bars and above. At the time of writing this review, I had yet to experience a match at 4 bars. Nonetheless, the 3-bar latency worked well enough that I wasn't hard-pressed to find it. At long last, fans could finally get a version of KOF with netplay that rivals some of the other fighting games that are available. It's too early to tell, but the outlook of King of Fighters XIII Steam Edition is very promising should you have an interest in repurchasing or acquiring another PC fighting game title. We can only hope that SNK Playmore continues to bring more games to the Steam store, as their first foray into the world of Steam digital download has turned out to be pretty successful.